So, basically I came into the store here, I went on a shopping spree with some new stuff that we're going to have. I'm just going to kind of go in order. A bunch of stuff has a bunch of new custom colors along with some standard colors. Hopefully get through quite a bit of it here. And if you guys have questions along the way, go ahead and ask them and we'll either answer them during or after. So, first off, I'm going to start off with the Musky Frenzy Stagger IC9, which is new for this year. We have a bunch of standard colors along with Thorn custom colors. We got a Indiana Colorado 9 combination. I got to test this out the last couple of years up on the woods. Put a lot of big fish in the boat the last couple of years. It was something new to them. It drove them crazy. Clients had really good success on them, and that's one. Second off, slammers are something we've had for a while, but we got 7 or 8 new custom colors that Luke Ronostrand did for us this year. This is my favorite one of the ones that he had made, and that is our Mother of Pearl. We have these in pretty much every slammer size that we carry. Going into Musky Mayhem is the new 1310 Detonators. Now I get to throw these myself last year. I've heard great things. I will have some in my boat this summer. I think having the big blades offset is going to be a great combination. Hopefully drive some more than big fish and nuts. Once again, comes in a bunch of standard and custom colors. Another Musky Mayhem one that we have is going to be the 7.9 Trigger. A little bit smaller than the Detonator, going to be able to burn it in a little bit faster, probably more of an early spring type bait. Really work it over the tops of the weed beds if you want to. Can slow it down out in deeper water if you want. Once again, a whole bunch of custom colors out of all the ones that I grabbed. This has been my favorite color so far, which is the Martian Green. Up on the woods, I have started to really favor green and blacks. Been really good for me the last couple of years. Going to a topwater, I've used a few flaptails over the years up there. I don't use them as much as I probably should, just because I have to slow the boat down and I like fishing fast. But we got the Bomb Squad. My favorite topwater colors would be the Loon, which is why I grabbed it. Looking forward to using this next summer. Definitely going to throw it more than I've been doing. I don't see a lot of people up on the woods throwing flaptails as much as like the Metro Lakes or the Vermilion or your central Minnesota lakes. So hopefully it'll be a little bit of a game changer for us up there, at least for myself. Going to another bucktail. We got 4 of these new that we just got. They're Thorn Bros burners, and the cool thing about these is they got bells in here, make a little bit more noise, hopefully drive those fish a little bit more nuts. And it comes with 4 different blade combinations. The one I'm holding here, it's single blade, number 8. The second one we got is two Indiana blades. One's fluted. Once again, it has the bells in there, make a little bit more noise. All these burners that we have, they're small, so you can burn them, which is kind of the purpose of them. Great early season bait. I can see it being a super early season bait. Especially that one blade for guys that don't want to, you know, work themselves out all day. They can throw that one blade, burn it over the weeds just fine, and be able to fish it 12 to 14 hours a day, no problem. Going to the third one, we have 2 more Indiana blades on it. They'd be the hammered Indiana blades. Once again, a whole bunch of different colors in these. And then we have a standard hammered Colorado blade in the burner as well. This one does not have the bells in it, so not as much noise, but just another different combination for giving them something different in that early season. And it's probably something that'll be thrown all season long, honestly. I've gone down to using a lot of 8s and 9s, even in the fall. I still have guys that'll throw 10s and the supermodels and stuff like that. And, but just for, like, you know, the guys that just don't want to burn themselves out, I guess, all day for 14 hours a day, these burners are going to be really nice. And this one, I guess it's got a lot more marabou in it, more than the tinsel. So yeah. These, I believe we just got these the other day, which is the whale tail. I personally have not used these yet, but I have heard nothing but good things. Big fish being caught on them, super easy to throw. You can do them multiple different ways. You can jig them, you can straight retrieve them, you can, you know, pull pause, you know, there's so many combinations that you can do with this bait. For me up on the woods, I can really see it being a great fall bait as I start to get more and more into the jigging stuff up there in the fall. Yeah, I'm super excited about that, and we have those in a bunch of different cool custom colors as well. Going from there, we have the Dio Alexas. I have an HD and a Wing here. They were new this last spring, but they didn't really get out there to guys with the way everything was. They're now all gray. They have a new clutch system in them. They still come in the 4 different gear ratios. But yeah, I used a couple of them last year, and I was super impressed with them. 0 problems with them. Yeah. When it comes to the hummingbird stuff, they now have the G4 ends. We now have Helix 15, which is going to be awesome, at least for myself. When I'm in the back of the boat, I'm always, you know, looking at my graphs, trying to see what structure I'm on, trying to be able to split screen, because I only run one graph in the back of my boat, so now I'll be able to run my side imaging with my GPS all on one screen. They come in all the sizes still. We still got the 12s and the 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s. They all still have the Mega SI, Mega, you know, everything like that. But super excited to use the bigger screen for myself personally. And I actually just walked into the store a little bit ago, and I ended up finding this Simms Flyweight Hoodie, and was shown it and instantly was like, well, I'll be taking this one home once I put it on. I really don't see anything bad about it. It's super light. It's not going to be like too warm like for this time of year. Super, like, I don't know, it's just awesome. And then we still have our Predator rods. Not really anything new with these for this year, but definitely we'll be having, 6 of these in my boat, a couple for myself, a few client rods. There is nothing better out there in my opinion, but there's 3 different lengths that we can use. We have the heavies, the extra heavies, and the double extra heavies. one for every kind of use. Get them customized with the colors to match your boat, or maybe you got some favorite colors. I mean, it's a tough rod to beat. Alright, so that's a lot of the new stuff that we got into the store. Now we're gonna kind of get into what I'm gonna have in my boat for this summer. We have a lot of new custom color stuff, but they're baits that have been around for a long time. Any of you guys that are looking to come up to Lake of the Woods that need questions about baits that you want to be bringing up there. I mean, it's hopefully some of this will help you guys with some of those questions. Starting off, my number one bait the last 3 years is the Musky Frenzy Stagger 8.9. Absolutely incredible bait for me the last 3 years. It's put more fish over 50 in the boat than any other bait that I have in my boat. The cool thing with it now is we got a whole bunch of new custom colors with this thing. This is the one that has caught my eye the most, which is the Bluegill. I'll definitely be having a couple of these and a couple backups for it. And that 8.9, it's kind of been a bait that I've been able to use all year round up until like that fall time, once the weeds start dying off up there and those fish move off the rocks. I mean, but from that third Saturday in June for the Canadian opener through, I mean, basically the first week of October, that 8.9 has always been on a rod, whether it's my rod, a client's rod, a friend's rod, whatever. That bait has always been in the water for me up there. It has produced so many fish the last 3 years. The other bait that I've had really good success since it came out the last couple of years is the 8.8, which is the Stagger, Colorado, Indiana. It's been a great bait for those guys that they don't want to throw double tens all day for 12 hours. They don't want to be twitching a jerkbait in all day long, wearing themselves out. But this is something that they can throw and they can burn it over the tops of weeds. They can slow it down, and these fish have had no problems either way with these. I mean, it's been a wonderful bait for me up on the woods the last 3 years. Let's see. Another standard slammer color that we have. Been a great bait for me. I like throwing this out of the back of the boat. It's something that is gonna really move like those fish that don't respond to a bucktail or don't respond to like a spinnerbait or something that went through first. It's something that's gonna move some fish that just sat there for those first two baits, and you might not catch them on these twitch baits as much as you want to, but it really moves some fish so you can come back on them later on, whether it's you get a weather front coming in or you got a moon phase coming up. Really, it's a fish finder is what it really is to me. This one is also one of my biggest fish finders. I absolutely love Suics. This Franken Suic, haven't got to play with this one as much as I'd like to yet. Usually I'm throwing a 10 or a 12 most of the year. But Suics, in my opinion, up on the woods are fish finders. I mean, you're still going to catch fish on them, but you're going to move more fish on Suics than basically any other bait that gets thrown in my boat. And if we're having a tough day, one of the first baits I'll grab out of my box is going to be a Suic. I'll throw it third behind my first two guys and really try and figure out where these fish are hanging out. Some days we're fishing, the day before, like the rocks were really good, and we went and fished some rocks and then bucktails and spinnerbaits and whatever else we've been throwing hasn't moved a fish, and we'll go fish sand and weeds. I'll still throw a Suic, and the bucktail and whatever other bait is going through, and it won't move a fish. But this thing will definitely move a fish on those slower days. Hopefully it'll bite, but if anything, you have a fish to go back on later on in the day. Another bait that's been around for years that I use a lot. This is a 10-inch jig. We just got a whole bunch of new custom colors that I will be getting. And I use these both trolling and casting. This is probably one of my better trolling baits in the fall, but I'll still have guys that'll throw these all summer long with me, and they'll twitch, pause them. Straight retrieve them. They're still a fish catcher either way, whether it's July or October and we're running trolling rods. Another super cool bait that I use in the fall, the Believer. We got a whole bunch of new custom colors in this one as well. Luke did a phenomenal job with our custom colors. Definitely will be picking up a couple of the new customs for this fall. I don't cast these too often up on the woods. It's more of my trolling bait. I have thrown some of the smaller ones and had success on them, but it's just to me, I guess I have better success in the fall in these. I would rather be throwing like a grandma or a slammer or bucktails in the summertime. And I'm sure, as most people that have or know me, I guess, my ultimate fish catching bait up on the woods is a 7.5-inch grandma. When it's it's by far my best client bait. There's days where this will outfish a bucktail, no problem. In fact, it happened a couple of years ago. Had a guy in the boat with me, and he was throwing a bucktail all day long. And I threw on a grandma because it was pretty tough during the day, but then we had a front moving in on us in the evening, and tried to tell the guy to switch to this once I caught the first one on it, and ended up in 4 hours we caught 10 fish, and 9 of them came on a grandma. He wasn't switching to either. So my number one client bait by far. You need some of these in your boat. If you're going to be up on Lake of the Woods, you need these in your boat. That's just the way it is. 13-inch grandma. This is obviously more of my fall trolling bait. Probably my number one fish catcher the last couple of years. Mother of pearl. You can't beat it on the woods in the fall. We'll get into that Tulipy spawn, and we'll run these white baits through, and you'll be running this and a 10-inch jig and a headlock or a matlock, and this 13-inch jig will catch the biggest fish almost every time. It's a tough one to beat. That being said,
Super Stalker.
Oh, yes, I missed one. Another cool multifunctional bait that we got, Super Stalker. You can cast it, you control it. Done pretty well on these, actually. Probably don't throw them as much as I should, but still have had good success on them. We just got a whole bunch of these in and a bunch of custom colors as well. Definitely would suggest, if you're going to be up on the woods, Super Stalkers, once again, it's just another bait that you should probably have in your boat. Yeah. That being said, I think I kind of covered a lot of the new stuff, a lot of the stuff that's going to be in my boat. I'm sure I missed some stuff. If you have any questions at all on what any advice on what baits you want to bring up to the woods, or really all these baits that I use work on any lake, any shield lake. But I mean, I kind of picked out some colors and baits that are more of what I do up on the woods, I guess. So yeah, any questions? We can go ahead.
Quick question: if they have questions outside of today, Forrest, what's the best way to get a hold of you if they want to book a trip?
So you can get a hold of me on Facebook, Instagram. I have a website, www.anglingaddicts-huset.com. You can send emails to me that'll get sent directly to me from that. Otherwise, Facebook Messenger works great. You can either use my personal profile to send them to me, or my Angling Addicts business page as well. I'll get back to you pretty quick on either of them. Same with Instagram. It's Angling Addicts by Forrest Huset.
All right, so the number one question coming across, and I don't mean to put you on the spot. I know you're not the prime minister up there. But of course, being in Minnesota, a lot of people are wondering, are you booking? What are your plans for the season? Are we going to be able to get up to Canada and do some musky fishing again this year?
So, I really wish I had a set answer for you. All the people that I've had calling me to book right now, I tell them that I'm planning on fishing Minnesota, any species, whatever. That being said, I tell them if Canada opens, it's kind of a bonus. So I'm not planning on Canada right now. But as things get better on here, I was actually just up at the angle here the last 2 weeks, and things are sounding better. I don't want to be the guy that is like, oh, Canada's going to open by the end of July, but things are sounding better with everything going on. I myself hope the border opens, because I'm not saying Minnesota's the bad water to fish. We still had a good summer last year. The getting guests up there was a little bit harder part. My people had to take a transport across the lake. This year I have a float plane company that'll get you up to the angle if the border stays closed. But I'm hearing from a few people that there's a possibility it could be open by the end of July, early August, but that is all talk right now, and that is why when people are booking, I'm telling them to plan on fishing Minnesota. If we get to go to Canada, it is basically a bonus at that point.
Perfect. So when you say fishing Minnesota, you're talking about the Minnesota portion of Lake of the Woods. And just so people are aware, they can get up to the angle. It may be a little challenging, but they can, in fact, get up to the angle, fish Lake of the Woods for muskies this summer. It would just be restricted to American waters. Is that accurate?
Correct. Yep. So until they open the border, we still have some water to fish in Minnesota, whether, obviously muskies there are some in Minnesota. You're more limited on your spots, but it's, there are still some in Minnesota. I'm not saying that it's as fun as, it's not Canada having 10,000 islands up there and a lot more spots to fish, but there is still fish to be caught.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Forrest, and thanks everybody for watching today. We got another batch of seminars, both live and recorded, coming tomorrow. We will see you all soon.